Hello. Now let's look at the Boolean literals. The Boolean literals, this has two possible values and it can either be true or false. So it only has two possible values, that is true or false. And then in Boolean, we have something we call falsy values. These are values which are false by default. So if these values are encountered, whatever variable, function, or the value they're holding is false by default. And these values are 0, -0, null, false, not a number, undefined, and the empty string. So these are values that if you have something, let's say maybe you have y is equals to 0, and then you do a test. So you can use the Boolean function to check for the truth or false. Y is equals to 0. So if we check for Boolean y to check whether this value is true or false, this will be false because the value of y is 0. So let me go to the browser and just see this as an example. And note that here we also have the empty string. So if I come to Scratchpad, and you can open Scratchpad by Shift F4 on Firefox. So let me declare a variable called test, and I'll give this variable a value of 0. And I can use the Boolean function, Boolean, to check if this is true or false, right? So if I test this and I display, you'll see it tells us that the value is false. The Boolean value of this is false. So if I try, so basically what the Boolean is, let me comment this for a moment. This function, you can use it to see if something is true or false. So let's say x, let's forget about x. Let me use real numbers, literal numbers. 1 less than 9 is 1 less than 9. If I come here, display, this one is true. Is 19 less than 9? If I display the value of that, false. So basically, this is what you can use the Boolean for, to check if something is true or false. So back to test. Let me change the value of this variable test to an empty string. So if I give it empty string and then I find out the value, this is false. But if I come here, now note that the empty string doesn't have anything in between. So if I come here and I add a space, that means that I've added a character in here, and that character now has given this a value. So if I display, you'll see that this one will tell you that the value of this is true. So the empty string has nothing in there except for the quotations. So I wanted to emphasize that because sometimes you might get confused if you see this and you presume that it will be the same as that. So displaying that, the value is false. And also if we say that the value of test is null, then display the value false. Just go ahead and do that for each and every one of this, and you'll find that the Boolean value of that will be equivalent to false. Just go ahead and change that variable test to each and every one of this, and you'll see that that is true. So I was thinking, where can you use this Boolean thing? Let's say you have a system and there are pages that you want to be accessible. Let's say that's page 1, this one, and then page 2. And you want it to be such that if someone is a new user, they go to page 1. And if new user, the value has been set to false, maybe the value is set to false if they log in. Once they log in or they sign up, once they log in or they sign up, the value of the new user will be changed to false. So if somebody comes in and the value of new user is true, they are taken to page 1. And as soon as they log in your code, you'll add that the new value for new user will now be false. So if someone comes in, maybe this has been stored in the session of the browser. You store this in the session of the browser so that if they come in, the value of new user is checked, and if the value is false, then they'll be taken to page 2. Maybe that's their account, maybe that's something that is hidden. So this is just something that I wanted to share with you so that you can see maybe where you can use the Boolean literal. So that's a literal Boolean value which only has 2 possible values of true or false. That's it for Boolean literals. I'll see you in the next video when we continue with other literals.